Hello everyone. I welcome you all to the event AutoWare presented by IEEE RAS. Today, I Ashita would be your instructor for this session. I hope you guys to stick along with me till the end and I promise you that you'll learn something from here for sure. So let's get started. So first of all, let's have a look at the contents. So this is what you'll learn in today's session. The first one being background to automation, following is Instagram automation. Next, we'll learn about how can we build an Instagram DM bot. Next is email bot using Python. We'll learn fundamentals about web scraping and then have a to-do project that is news headlines emailer. Lastly, we'll see how to automate WhatsApp using Python. So let's get into the session. So the first question is, what is automation? The technique of making a process or a system to operate automatically is automation. And in today's session, we'll be seeing how this automation we can achieve using Python. So why Python? First, it's easy to learn and write. Second, and the most important one is the rich library of packages that Python supports. And third being it supports the object oriented programming and the functions as well. Now think of all the tasks you do during the day: sending out emails, reminders, texts, reading news, finding best deal on a product, Excel reporting, posting on social media, checking math scores, filling online forms. All these repetitive and mundane tasks are quite time consuming. A lot of work to do, right? So here comes Python at your rescue. So today we'll be checking out how to automate all of this using Python. So the video in front of me is exactly what we are going to achieve today. Okay, so moving on, be it Instagram, be it WhatsApp, or be it email, your message will be delivered to three platforms using Python. Yes, you heard that right. So let's see what's the first task and what's the first project for today's session. So basically, the session is going to be based on project based learning. So we'll learn things by making small projects. So the first one is automating Instagram using Python with 10 lines of code. So let's see how can we perform this. So first of all, I come back to my browser and we need to actually see what library we'll be requiring for this task. So the library we need is Instabot. So let's go back to our Chrome, type Instabot. And as you can see this link by PyPy, that's the official Python documentation. So this documentation provides all the description about this library. It's free to use. Just it's that it does not come with your default Python installation. So for this session, so for this project, we need to install this library externally, and then we'll see how can we import this library and use it in Python. So I can just copy the command from here. I want all of you to open your command prompt, and for Mac users, you might open your terminal. So once your command prompt is ready or your terminal, just paste this command in your terminal. And for Windows, this would do, but for Mac users, you need to append a 3 over here. It's pip3 install instabot. So that would be working for you. So I'll just run this command. So as you can see, for me, the requirement is already satisfied because I've already installed this library and it's in my directory. For you, it will take 1 or 2 minutes, so you need to wait. And once you're done, give me a yes in the chat box. So we'll move forward. So until you're installing this library, one more thing for this project, for this session, I'll be using Visual Studio Code for writing all the programs. You can use PyCharm or Spider or Jupyter Notebook, whichever IDE you prefer for writing Python. So as I can see, people have started responding with a yes. So I assume that by this time you all have installed this library. Okay, so moving further, we'll go back to our Visual Studio Code. Okay, so how about I tell you that we'll be automating posts of Instagram using Python. That means you need not open your Instagram to create a post. Isn't that cool? So let's try it out. So first I'll create one file. I've actually already created one folder in my Visual Studio Code. Now I need to create one Python file. So I'll name it as automate insta post.py. Okay, so I've created one Python file. What's the command again? So the command is pip install instabot. It's here. Just type instabot on your browser and you'll get this page, so you can copy it from there and run it in your command prompt. Okay, so moving back to my Visual Studio Code. So now I have actually installed my library. So the next step is importing it into my Python script. So for doing that, I'll write just one simple command, that's from instabot import this class named bot, and this would do the job for you. So now you have successfully imported this library in your Python script and you are ready to start coding. Okay, after doing this, I need to create one instance for this object I just imported. So I'll just do that. So I have named my instance as bot, that's followed by a small b. Once I'm done with this, now what I need to do is, whenever you need to post something on Instagram, you usually keep it logged in into your phones. But for Python, we need to create a login function so that it can log in into your Instagram and then you can perform the task. So first of all, I write one line of code for performing the login action. So that's as follows. I'll write bot. I'll just call a function called login on this instance that I just created from the import. So that's login. Okay, once I've called this function, I need to pass in two parameters over here. The first being the username of your username of my Insta account, and the next one is the password. Make sure that the username and the password should be in strings. So you need to just instead of this username and password, you need to write your username and your password in strings and pass it into this function. So for me, I've actually already stored my password in this file, so I'll just import that from here. And I'll create one variable for my username. And I'll pass it over here. So you need not worry about what code I have written over here. You just need to specify your username and password in strings as parameters for this function. Okay, so once we are done with this calling the login function, we just need to see whether it has logged in successfully. So I'll just write this command login successful to see if my above code executes properly. So I'll be proceeding further. Okay, I'm done with this. Now to post something on Instagram, you need an image, right? So right now I don't have any in my directory. So I'll just go to Chrome and install one very quickly. So I'll type images and okay, so I'll pick any one image. I'll just save this one. So remember, you need to save image in the same directory of your project folder. So I'll just name it as demo. And I'll head back to my Visual Studio Code. So as you can see, I have already actually got my image in my project directory. So if you're using PyCharm or Spider, you can actually specify make a variable and specify the path of your image wherever it is stored on your desktop. So I'll just create one variable and I'll pass demo dot jpg and I'll be good to go. Okay, so I've got my image. Now I want to upload my picture. So I'll just call my instance and call this function upload photo. You can actually upload a story, you can upload a video. There are a lot of more functions available. So let me just give you a quick tour of all of that. So you need to go to your browser again. We have actually already typed this instabot, so I'll just scroll down and here you can see this link. So this link provides me the documentation for this library. So I would recommend you to go through these documentation that are available on the internet, the official ones. So you'll get a very good idea of how can you use this library instead of searching on Chrome and just going here and there. It's a very good source. You get all the information here. So as you can see, it has all the functions that the library provides, which you can call and customize your program as per your needs. So it has login, logout, it has these functions for username, user IDs, getting medias, hashtag. You can actually get all the data from the hashtags on Instagram. Then you can get the count of your users, the number of people whom you are following, your followers. You can actually comment on posts, you can like them, you can follow people, you can unfollow people, you can download photos, you can upload photos. So there are a bunch of functions available on this documentation, so you can just click on any one of them and check them out. So it provides you the whole range of methods that are required to call these functions and code your program. So this is very good source. I recommend you to check this out. So I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code and now I'll complete my function. So I need to pass in two parameters. So the first being the photo. As you can see, it's already recommending me here. So the first parameter will be the URL or the path of your image, and the next one will be the caption, because without a caption our post does not look nice, but actually it's optional, but I'll just add one. So I'll write image and the next parameter is caption. I'll write this is a demo image. So that would be good to go. So once I'm done with that, I would like my bot to log out of my Instagram. So I'll just write this function bot.logout. Okay, so I'll just save my program and give this a run. Let's see if it works or not. I'll run my code. So as you can see, it says started pre-login flow, logged in successfully, just logged in. So let's see if it's upload the image now. Don't worry about this. This is all the JSON response that the browser is returning. So it says login successful. Okay, so it says photo demo.jpg is uploaded and the bot has stopped. It has actually logged out. So let's check if my image is uploaded. I'll just go to my Instagram and check that. Instagram. I'll just log in. So let's go to our profile and check whether the task has been done or not. Okay, cool. So we've actually got our image uploaded on Instagram. Isn't that cool? You're just controlling all with your Python script. And this is just a simple example. You can actually work on it a lot more and create wonderful scripts to do your job. So this is the first task we achieved in this session using automation using Python. So as you can see, this caption is uploaded. This is a demo image and I've actually got my image uploaded. Cool. So if you're done with the first task, kudos to you. Now I'll just log out. And if you have problem following along, don't worry. I'll just push this code to GitHub so that you can access it and you can follow along with me. So the URL is provided in the description or it is even pinned in the live chat. You can check it out from there. So I'll just make the changes. remember, once you run this code, there will be a config file created over here. Make sure to delete it once you have actually executed your code, because this stores all the cookies that you have actually created by logging into Instagram and performing your stuff. If you don't delete this folder, the next time you run this code, it won't work. So make sure to do that, because it gives out some errors related to ongoing sessions and stuff. So I'll just delete it. I'll delete this one too. And as you can see, once I've uploaded my image, the image has actually been removed from the directory itself. I think it may not happen for you if you do it in just give the path or the URL. If I have actually got it into my directory, it got removed. So I don't need this file. I'll also delete this one. Okay. So I'll go and just, okay, let me check if it is uploaded successfully. Okay, so as you can see, the code is available on the GitHub, so you can actually copy it from here, and whatever you want to do, you can actually give your username instead of this one, and you remove this secret key and this password thing. You just need to give your password in string and your username in string. So we are done with the first task. I'll edit these codes once the session is over. I'm just uploading them right now so that you can access it and follow along with me. Okay, so I'll head back to my studio code, or no, I need to actually go to the next task. So let's see what's next on our list. Okay, so the next one is building an Instagram DM bot. So let's see what libraries we'll be using for this one. So Selenium. So what the requirement for this project would be Selenium. So let's go back to our Chrome browser, and I'll just search for Selenium. Okay, see the first link that appears over here. Let's check this out. So as you can see, it seems to be the official page for this library, and you can click over here and get to know about the documentation. It tells you all that you need to get started with this library. You can actually go on and play around with this so that you get to know what all functions are available and how can you use them. So right now I actually want to install this library. So there's actually this convention that whenever you need to install any Python package, it is to be written this way: pip install and the name of the package. For me it is Selenium right now, so I'll just write it. A gentle reminder for all Mac users: just append a 3 after pips. It's pip3, and type this command in your terminal so it will work for you. I'll press enter. Okay, so as you can see, requirement is already satisfied. For you, it might take 1 or 2 minutes, so you need to be patient. Just wait, and it would be done. So while you're installing this library, there's one more requirement for this project. But before that, let's check out what is Selenium doing. Okay. Google is always a good source for doing this. I didn't want to put it all in my presentation and just tell you and read it out from there. I want to give you the practical exposure that this is how you learn while making projects. So you just need to Google stuff. If you're good at Googling, you'll be good to go. So let's see what is the use of Selenium. So it says Selenium is an open source tool that automates web browsers, and that's exactly what we want to do. So the aim of this project would be to automate your browser and perform all the tasks without your intervention. So it's basically like a bot is controlling your computer, or you made say it, your browser, and getting the job done for you. So for this to perform this stuff, we need this library. And also there's one more use of this library is that used to perform all those tasks that are dynamic. So you'll get to learn as I demonstrate this project. So the other requirement for this project would be to install a driver, a web driver. So that would be useful in controlling your browser automatically. So let's check out what is a web driver. So WebDriver is a remote control interface that enables introspection and control of user agents. So let's see what's that's quite heavy on words. Let's see what is the use of this. So Selenium WebDriver is a tool that is used to automate web application testing to verify that it works as expected. It supports many browsers such as Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Safari. So actually, this driver could help you actually automate testing. So basically, when a software is prepared, people want to test it, so they can do this testing automatically. They can automate it, and that automation tool required for this task to be done is a WebDriver, followed by using this library called Selenium. So this WebDriver would be different from every browser. It would be different for Chrome, for Firefox, for Internet Explorer, for Safari. So as you can see, I'm using a Chrome browser. So I'll actually search for a Chrome WebDriver and get it installed in my desktop. So see, as you can see, the first link that appears seems to be the official one. Let's check this one out. Okay, so it's showing me three versions of Chrome, three current releases, and it asked me to choose any one of them. So I don't know what version of Chrome I have. So how do I check that? Okay, let me go back. Let me go here. One second. Yeah, click over these three dots. Head to settings. Click about Chrome, and as you can see, the version of your Chrome browser would be available over here. So for me it's 97 point something, so I'll get back here and check if there's a Chrome version 97. Yes, it is, so I'll just click on this link. Okay, now again a bunch of options. Let us see. So it says Chrome driver for Linux, for Mac, for Windows. I am using Windows, so I'll just click on this one. So a zip file is downloaded over here for me. I just need to extract the exe file that will help me to run my application. So I'll just extract that one. So I'll go to my file explorer and just extract it from here. Okay. So I have this file. I'll just copy this one. I'll go back to my desktop, and in my directory I'll just paste this one. Okay. So I've actually got my Chrome driver in my directory, or actually it's not even necessary to get it into your project folder. It's just for convenience I'm doing so. You can create a variable in your script and specify the path of this driver, and you'll be good to go. So I've actually put it into my directory. So I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code and create one more file to get this job done. So I'll name it as insta dm bot dot py. That's py is for Python script. Okay. Now I've actually installed my Selenium library successfully. I've also got my WebDriver. Now I need to import them into my script. So for that, I'll just write this command from Selenium. Import this class called WebDriver. Okay, that's all I need to do for getting this library into my script. Once I'm done with this, now let's see what's the agenda for this one. I want to automate the login process that I do usually perform manually whenever I want to get my Instagram logged into my browser and I want to send a message to someone. So I need to automate that login process. First step. The second step would be going to the DM section and actually searching for the usernames I want to send a message to, and I need to have a message that I want to spam. I would not say spam. Actually, in WhatsApp, if you see, you have a broadcast list. You can select a lot of members at once and send your message. Maybe a wish, like if you need to wish someone on Diwali or New Year. But on Instagram, it gets tough. You need to actually manually select all the contacts and then send them a message. So for that purpose, I think this file, I mean this script, this code would help you sort that problem a bit and motivate you to create such wonderful stuff, so that you can get all of your jobs automated and think differently and creatively. So what this code is going to do is it will redirect me to the messages section, search for the usernames I want to send a message to, compose my message, and just send it to them. So now I need user. So after hearing the abstract or the gist of this project, you must understand that I need my username, I need my password to authenticate my login procedure, and then I need a list of user IDs I want to send messages to. I need my message that I want to send. So let's initialize these four variables. So the first one will be my username. Next one is my password. Remember, all of this has to be a string. So I have my password stored in this file, so I'll just import it. You need not do this step, you just need to type your password in string. Okay, so I've actually initialized my two variables that would help me authenticate my login procedure. Now I need a list of user IDs I need to send messages to. So I need to create one Python list. So I'll just name it as usernames. This is how you create a list in Python. I hope you might be familiar with this. So I'll just type in 3 user IDs. Okay, so I've actually typed 3 user IDs. Now I need my variable for messages. And what message should I say? Okay, so my hey, my new post is up on Instagram. Do check it out. Okay, so I've actually composed my draft, that message I'll be sending to. Now I need to automate all of this, so I need to get in my WebDriver into hand so that I can actually control Chrome using this Python script. So for that purpose, I need to call this function called WebDriver dot chrome. So this is how you initialize your WebDriver. So now in this inverted commas, you need to specify the path of your Chrome driver. For me, it's in the same directory, so I need not do so. I'll just type the name of my Chrome driver. That's the exe file you see over here. So I'll just write Chrome driver and give it a variable, store it in a variable named browser. Okay, so this will actually help me make a connection with connection of my Python script with my Chrome using this WebDriver. Okay, so I'm done with this. So let's check if it redirects me to the Instagram page that I want to automate all the process on. So I'll just call this function on this object I just on this variable I just created, that's get. So this get function is basically used to send a get request to this URL that I am going to specify in this parenthesis. So I need to send request to Instagram. So let me just get the URL of Instagram. I'll just say Instagram. Okay, I'll just copy the URL and get back to my studio. Okay, I've actually got my URL ready. So let me check if this works. It redirects me over there or not. I'll just clear my terminal. I'll run my code. Okay, you need to trust on this trust on me at this part. I did not do anything. It opened automatically. It's just like ghost controlling your computer. Okay, speaking scientifically, it's not that. It says very clearly that Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. So that is basically your web driver that we just initialized in our script that is controlling your browser. So it just gives a message. So basically, this is a headless browser. Now you must be thinking, what is a headless browser now? No worries, Google at your service. We'll just type headless browser and see what it is. Okay, so the first link, it says a headless browser is a web browser without a graphical user interface. So, a headless browsers provide automated control of a web page in an environment similar to popular web browsers, but they are executed via command line interface or using network communication. That's exactly what we are doing. We are just controlling our Chrome browser using that web driver with our Python script. Okay, so once we have a good understanding of this, I'll go back to my IDE, and we got to know that this code is running. Now actually I want to, if I break down this project into two parts, it would be first authenticating my login and the second one being sending messages. So I'll quickly create two functions for performing this task. So I'll just create this function login, and it would take two parameters, the first being the username and the other one being the password. So I'll quickly type that. Okay, so I've actually created my function. Now in this function, I want to log in. So at this, in this, whenever I call this function, I want it me to redirect to this URL. So I'll place it inside my function. Okay, I'm done with this. Now one more thing to note. What if we want to make it look like a human is doing all of this? We need some time interval in between, because of what does it automatically, it would just read the first line, execute the code, go to the next one, execute it without any time gap in between. But there's a problem over here. Our page loads dynamically. It means it depends on your internet speed, or you might say, even if you have a very good internet connection, it might take a few seconds to get your page loaded and stuff loaded in front of you. So I don't want this program to throw an error in that case. So just to be on a safer side, and actually if you see, it's quite necessary as well, you need to specify some sleep time, so that you can provide your browser to load you some time to load, so that it loads and then you can perform your stuff. So for that, I'll just create one variable which will store the time. So I'll say sleep underscore time. This would be in seconds, so I would say 5 seconds. Now how do I specify this time? So basically I'm asking my script to sleep for some time. That is the time I've actually specified. So for that, I need to import one more library. So this library comes by default with your Python installation, so I'll just import that very quickly. So this library is time, so I'll import time. So once I'll import this one, I'll go back here and call this library time.sleep, this function, and specify my sleep time. I've actually created the variable, so I'll just pass in that as a parameter. So this time is basically in seconds, do remember that. So I want it to take its time to load, and then I'll perform the further tasks. So I'm done with this. Now let's see what else I want to do with this. Now I'm on this page. Now I want to enter my username and my password, and then click on this login button so that I get into my Instagram. So for doing that, I actually need to locate these two elements on this page. How do I do that? So a basic knowledge that this page is being created by HTML. So this HTML you might have studied in your school, I assume. So you might have basic knowledge of HTML. So what if I say I want to obtain the code of the HTML code of this web page? Is it possible? Mm, what do you think? Will I be able to obtain the HTML code of this web page? Type it in the chat. No response. I'm assuming you might not know about this. Okay, no problem. So I want to obtain the HTML code of this page. So I'll just right click and click on inspect. So basically this inspect, this is a Chrome, this is called Chrome Developer Tools. So whenever I click on this inspect, it would direct me to this page. So this is nothing but giving you the source code of this web page. So you, as you can see, here are the HTML codes that are being written to just create this web page, and this is the CSS. So if you are into web dev, you must be knowing what is CSS. It's basically used for styling all of your HTML components. And you also have a console over here. You can type in your JavaScript and get your functions tested. So for now I need to locate these two um, input fields. So for that I'll just click on this select an element tool. So I'll just select this one, and whatever element I want to select, I'll point it over here. So I just get the code for that element. So you see it's an input tag, and it has a lot of attributes like autocorrect, type, class, name, value, all of this. So I need to actually locate this element. For that I need this name. I actually need any one of the attribute of this tag. If I get that, I'll be actually able to locate this one. So for this simplicity purpose, I'll be taking name. So, and if I actually inspect the password, I'll get name as password. So these two will be good to go. So I actually want to find my element by name. That attribute is name. So I'll go back to my script and see if there's any function to do this job. So I have this instance called browser created already. Let's see what all functions I have with that. I want to find an element, so I'll just dot and say find. So it gives me a bunch of options like find element by class name, by CSS selector, by ID, by name, and all. So I wanted to select by name, so I've actually got a function for that. That's cool. So in the parameters I'll be specifying the user, in the name of that HTML tag that was input. So it says the name was username, so I'll just type that over here. Okay, so I've successfully located my username field over there, and I want to store it in a variable so that I can perform more functions on this. So I'll just give a variable name as input username equal to this. Now as we saw in the in developer tools, that for password field, it's the name is password. So I'll just copy this one and make the changes. This variable name would be password and the name would be password. So by writing these two lines of code, I'm actually able to locate these two input fields. So once I'm done with this, now actually I want to send in my input so that I can perform the action of logging in. So I need to pass in my username and my password. So for that we have one function called send underscore keys. So I'll call my variable input underscore username, type in this function. As my parameter, I'll provide the username I just created in the script above, and then I want to give some sleep time of say 2 seconds. Now I want to send my password also, so I'll just copy this, write it over here, input underscore password, send keys would be my password. Okay, so by this time, I assume my, I'll also give some sleep time, my username and password are my that would be entered automatically in those fields. So I want, as soon as I input my password, it gets that login button gets clicked. For that I have this inbuilt function called submit. So as soon as I send keys on my input password, I want to call this function to submit my data. So this would be submit. There it does not need any parameters, you just need to call it like this. And then I want to give some sleep time, so I'll give that. Now I need that 5 seconds, so I'll just pass in my variable as sleep time. Okay, so I feel the login part is automated. So let's just check it out if this code works. I'll call my function. How did I specify? Okay, my username, my password. So I'll just pass in these two variables, my username and my password. Yes, I'm done with this one. I'll save my program and let's see if this runs. Okay, I did not close this one, so it's giving me a lot of errors. I'll just clear my terminal and start it again. Okay, so I'll just run this code. So as you can see, the browser opens automatically. The username is being typed in, the password is also being typed, And you see it has already submitted. It has done everything by itself. I have not done anything over here. It's automated. That's cool. You need to trust me. I did not do anything again on that part. Cool. So once we are done with this thing, we can actually proceed on writing our code for actually drafting a message. So I'll just create one more function by this name, def send underscore messages, and this will also need two parameters. So the first being users and the second being the messages. Okay, so I've actually created this function. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now let's go back to our browser and see what task we need to perform next. I'll just again click on inspect and select this tool, and I actually want to direct to this button. I want to initiate an action of click so that I get directed to the DM section. So I'll just click on this and find the code for that. So as you can see, this is an SVG tag. So basically that's an image. We don't want that. We want that link. So there's an anchor tag over here that's also pointing to the same element. So it's basically an SVG nested inside. So we need this code. So now I'll not be using this class name or name because I don't see any name over here, nor I see an ID. I see a class name that's quite complex to write every time and don't want to do all of this stuff. So here comes one more thing by which we can locate this element. That's XPath. Now what is XPath? No worries. Google is here. We'll just search it out. So I'll type XPath and see what is an XPath. So XPath stands for XML Path Language. It uses a non-XML syntax to provide a flexible way of addressing to different or pointing to different parts of an XML document. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to address or point to an element in that HTML code. So for that reason, this XPath would be handy. So I'll close this tab and go back here. Now how do I get this XPath? I'll just right click. There's this option called copy. If I hover here, I find this copy XPath. So this is what I want. I'll just click on this. So now XPath is being copied to my clipboard. Now I'll actually call my browser. Then I'll say find element by, see, we have this option, find by XPath. Cool. Now in single inverted commas, I'll just paste that XPath I just copied. And now I've actually located this DM message box. Now I want to initiate an action of click. So for that, I'll just call this function called click. Oops, that's click. Yeah. So this would do the job for me. So now I'll just give some sleep time because it would take some time to load to that page and I don't want to mess up with my code. So I'll just give sleep underscore time. Yeah, I've got my variable. Okay. Now I'll go back to my Chrome and see if I click here where I am being directed to. So I'm getting this message that says to turn on or to select or not now for that notification. You can actually select any one of them, but I just want to say not now. So I need to locate this element. I'll click on inspect. If you're wondering how I am getting this, just right click on that page and you'll find this option called inspect and this window would open. So you'll just need to click over here and then come down and locate this element. So this is a button. Here is this button. I have located this one. I'll right click. I'll say copy XPath, and I'll get the XPath. Now again, I need to write browser dot find element by XPath. I'll provide the XPath, and I want to click on that. So I'll just call this function click. Again, I want to give sleep time because it would take some time for it to go and another section of the page to load. Yes, okay. So now let's see what next thing we need to do. I'll just click on not now. Manually, I'm doing this so that actually I can show you how things are being broken down into steps. So now I want to click on this button called send message. I want to draft a message. So for that, I need to locate the code for this element again. I'll do that. This is the button. This is the code. I'll right click, get my XPath, and head back to my script. I'll say browser dot find element. Okay, it's in the top itself. Find x element by x path. Copy this one, click. That's what I want to do. Oops, what did I do? Okay, I'll just close this for simplicity purpose. Yeah, fine. So I've got an action of click initiated. I want it to have a sleep time of 5 seconds again. Going back, what's next on list? Okay, I'll click on send message. So you see there's a message box that appears. It says as to draft a message. So now I need to actually type in my user ID to whom I want to send a message to. So let's just do that. I'll say this. So it will actually show me the list of it will actually give me the suggestions for the user ID I'm typing in. So the first thing is I need to locate this input fields, then I will send my keys, and then in this list I'll locate the first element that would appear after typing in the user ID. I'll click on this button. So this is all we want to do. So let's break it down. I'll just need to get the code for this input box. So I'll click here for this input. I got it. I'll say copy XPath, go back to my script and say browser dot find element by XPath and just paste my XPath here. I'll say click. Okay, so I've actually, okay, no, I don't want to click here. I want to actually send my um, name of the user ID. I'll not do that. So I'll store it in a variable maybe, or I'll just append my thing here. I'll say dot send underscore keys user. Okay, I forgot one thing. There's a list of users, so I need to iterate over them. So for that I need a for loop. I just forgot entering that. So it would be for user, for user in users, and I need to give proper indentation. Okay, I've actually given this sleep time. Let me just check the code once. Yeah, fine. I'll have send my username. Cool, that's done. Now the next thing is I actually need to get the code for this list so that I can actually get this button, radio button over here, and get the code for that. So I'll just type this. I'll go and inspect and I'll select this list itself. So a bit difficult to select it manually. I'll just check it from here. Yeah, so this div tag gives me the location for the whole list. I'll right click, I'll copy my XPath. Okay, so now I've got my XPath. Okay, before that I need to give some sleep time. Time dot sleep underscore time. I know this is a bit repetitive thing, but you need to do that for proper execution of your code because the page takes some time to load. Yeah, so I've specified that thing, and now I want to actually in this list find this button. So for that thing I'll just click here and I'll see if I click here I have this button. So the tag name is button, and inside this list I want to locate the button. So I'll now append one more function call over here, that would be find element by tag name. Yes, so I found it, and the tag name is button. I actually using different methods so I can show you the versatility of it. And now after locating that button I want to initiate an action of click. So I've successfully and put my first username to whom I want to send a message to, and then I have clicked on that, selected that person. Now what I want to do is click on next so that I can be directed to the draft page and I can send my message. So I'll locate this button next. Okay, so I've got this div class. I'll just copy the XPath from here. Again, I need some sleep time. Then I'll say browser dot find element by XPath. I'll paste in my URL. I'll say click on that. Okay, now again I'll provide some sleep time beforehand. Yeah, we're done with this. Now let's see what happens if I click on this next. I'm directed to this page. Now I want to send my message. I want to write my message in this box. So I need to get the code for this text area. Just click on this one. I'll get this. I'll locate my input place, and now I'll copy the XPath. I'll say browser dot find element by XPath. Provide the URL, and here I'll create one variable named text underscore area. Yeah. Now I'll here call this function called send keys and send my message. So I'll say text underscore area dot send keys, and what I want to send is my message. Yes. So this would successfully send the message there, and then I'll just add the sleep time again. Okay, so once I've actually input my message, the next thing I want to do is click on enter. So now I don't have this submit option available because there's no submit button. I need to press enter. So how do I initiate that enter command through my script? So there's one more thing you can do with this library. So I need to make one more import. So that would be from Selenium. Don't worry, I don't memorize all of this stuff. It is all available on the official documentation page. You can always look out for options over there. So I'll say selenium.webdriver.common.keys, and I'll import keys. So basically this will do the job for me. It would mimic the action of enter using my script. I would do that. So I'd say text underscore area dot send keys dot enter. That's what I want to. I'll say enter. So this would do the job for me. Now I actually want to see if the message has been sent successfully. So in my terminal, I want to print this one statement. So as to be confirmed that my message has been sent. So this is an F string I'm using right now. So I'll say message successfully sent to. So I want to actually see the user name. So I'll put it in curly braces user. So it would take the name of user, the current iteration in this list. Okay, I'm done with this one. Now I have to provide sleep time again before I initiate one more draft for the another user ID in my list. So I'll give it here. Now let's get back. So I've actually entered my message. I've sent. Now I want to compose one more message. So I'll just click on this thing so that I am directed to this page again, and I do the same steps again. So I need to locate this button. This is the last thing. Don't worry. After this, our code would be going. So I'll just click on this one. This is the SVG. I want the div. I'll just click here. I'll right click, copy XPath. Now I'll say browser dot find element by XPath, paste in my URL, and I want to initiate this action of click. I'll do that. Now I want to provide some sleep time again. Yes. So now after doing this thing, I want the code to go again, iterate for the next user and do the same things. So I'm done with all of this. Now I want to actually call my function. So I'll again specify some sleep time, or I think I don't need because I have specified above. No, I haven't. But at the end of this function, I have. But for safer side, I'll just give some sleep time. Say that okay, 5 seconds only. I'll call my send messages function. Yeah. So this should be good to go. Let's check. Let's test our code. So I'll get. Okay, no, I'll just right click. Oh no, I need to have my terminal here. Yeah. Now I'll click run code. Yeah, as you can see, the browser opened automatically. So got my username and password entered, login is clicked. Now it should go to the DM section. Cool, it has done that. Now I wanted to go to not now. Now I wanted to go to send messages. Do that quick. Yes, it did it. Enter the first username. Cool. Selected the first one. Go and click on next. Yeah, it did it. Nice. Now enter my message. Don't assume that I'm controlling it by my voice. I'm just doing it for you guys. Cool. So the first message is sent automatically. Let's see if it goes and iterates further. Show the XPath copying once. I'll do that just after the execution of this code. So the next message is up. You can actually change the sleep time amount. I've given it 5 seconds for the safer side. You can give even lesser than that if you want your actions to be performed quickly. So as you can see, all the three messages are being sent. If I have specified this browser.quit, it would not actually execute further. Let's see if it quits automatically, or I should have done that. It's stuck, I feel. So I should have specified at the end browser.quit. So after performing the task, it would automatically quit the session. See in the terminal also you can see it says message sent to this ID, message sent to this ID, and message sent to this ID successfully. Cool. I'll just close the browser as I'm done with the tasks. Okay, this one person was asking how do we get the X path. So just select any one element. I did, for example, this one. I want to get, I don't want that SVG, I want a div that's actually containing all of the code for clicking on that button. I'll do a right click. As soon as do right, there's this option called copy. I'll hover, I'll see a lot of options: copy selector, copy JS path, copy styles, and here's there's copy X path. So when I click on this, actually the X path gets copied to my clipboard. So as soon as I say Control V, it's on my script. So I hope this clears it out. Okay, so we have actually successfully got our Instagram DM bot. So I'll commit it for you guys so you can have a look. Just give me a second. So I don't want to upload this Chrome driver. I'll just remove that. One second. Okay, I need to say Chrome driver.exe. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to upload this one. I think it's uploaded. I'll just check it for you guys once. Yeah, it's there. So you can actually have the code from here. Here's the whole code. Just give me a second. Until it's being done, I'll just get you guys back to what's next task. Yeah, fine, it's updated. Okay. So let's see what's next on our list. The next one is building an email bot. So see, we until now we have seen how to automate our Instagram. Now let's see how can we actually automate our emails. We need not go and draft emails again and again. You can actually do it with our script itself. So let's see how we'll get done. Okay, so the library required for this task is smtplib. So don't worry, you need not install it externally. It comes by default with your Python installation. So I just need to go back to my Visual Studio Code, create one more file. I'll say emailbot.py. Okay, so this smtplib is already in my Python. It comes by default with my Python installation. So I just need to import this. So there's this command import, as you might have been become familiar with. So this is smtplib. That's all I need to import for this code. Now let's check out what is this SMTP doing and how do we actually get a connection established between our script and with the Gmail server. So I'll just say SMTP lib and let's see what is SMTP. So SMTP module defines an SMTP client session object that can be used to send mail to any internet machine with an SMTP. Quite complex. Let's look out for another one. How do SMTP? So basically this SMTP is this library that will help you to establish the connection with Gmail server. So basically it will help you establish connection with SMTP's Gmail server. Rather than searching SMTP lib, I would like to show you what is SMTP. So SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So this is like just another protocol like you have your IP protocols and all. So it says it's an internet standard communication for electronic mail transmission. So how it works? So it's an application that is used to send, receive, and relay outgoing emails between senders and receivers. So what is it doing is SMTP email is just an email sent using an SMTP server. So we need to establish this connection between this SMTP server and our Gmail account so that we can actually execute all of this with our Python script. So I have actually imported this library in my script. So let's see what all next we need to do. So there's this port number for this. So I'll just say SMTP port. See what's the port for. So port 25 is the original standard email SMTP port. So that's the port number for SMTP. Now the next thing is there are two when you send when you actually communicate on the internet, there are different protocols. You have the hypertext transfer protocol, that is the HTTP. Then you also have HTTPS. Then you have TLS, you have SSL. Now what is this SSL and TLS? Let's just check it out quickly. SSL. So SSL, what does SSL means? SSL is secure socket layer. It is a standard security technology for establishing an encrypted link between a server and a client, typically a web server and a browser, or a mail server or a mail client. So this is a secure sockets layer. What does it means? How does it work? It works by encrypting data exchange between the browser, server, and the authenticating user. Okay, what is TLS? The other term I mentioned. So TLS is the transport layer security. It encrypts the data sent over the internet to ensure that eavesdropper and hackers are unable to see what you transmit. So basically, this is an added security layer. So while communicating or while establishing a connection with SMTP server, we need to choose between these two protocols what we want to actually encrypt our or make our communication stuff more secure. So I actually want to use both of them. There are basically two ways you can initialize this SSL from the starting and secure your connection. There's another way where you do not create a secured connection from the starting, but then you encrypt it using this TLS. Need not worry, you need not think what's the difference between the two methods. Both of them are going to use TLS by the end and encrypt all of your communication happening between your script, yeah, and your SMTP server. So that's not an issue. Just we need to check out how we can actually get this thing doing. So I'll just see what is the TLS port number, because I'll be using this method. So what is a TLS port? Okay, so the SM for giving this making this connection with the SMTP server, the code for the port for TLS is 587. We have got this one, so we'll be using this in our code. So this is one requisite. Now you actually want a sender email and you want a receiver email so that you can get your email bot going. So for one thing, that if you want to actually use this, you need to do one thing with your account. I'll just show you that. I'll go to my account. I'll say manage your Google account. I'll come to this tab called security. So if you come to when you select your Google account and you see, so there will be this tab called security, and under this you will have this two-step verification and less secure app access. So this two-step verification is turned off for me right now, and I've also turned on this less secure app access. So I would be assuming by default for you guys these two things would be like, this two-step verification would be on and this one would be off. So for this project, this for this simplicity purpose, I have actually turned off my two-step verification and I've turned on my less secure app access. It's just because Python requires this less secure app access turned on, because while sending or connecting to this SMTP server, it would actually treat that email as less secure. I mean, that a less secure app is trying to connect to your account. So because of that, to get your script going, you need to turn this tab on. Now if you want to avoid doing all of this stuff, there's this documentation by developers at Google Developers. I'll just provide this link, don't worry. So this is Gmail for developers. So as you can see, it says just follow these small steps. These are 3 steps. Don't worry by the complexity, it's even not complex. You need to just have a read, a 5-minute read perhaps. And then what is it doing is creating a simple Python command line application that makes request to the Gmail API. So API is nothing but an application programming interface. That's a different term and different subject altogether. I'll not be touching this for now, but you can always Google and get to know more about this. So if you follow these steps, you'll be able to actually communicate with the SMTP server without turning off your two-step verification and turning on your less secure app access. But for the simplicity purpose of this project, I would be turning my two-step verification off and turning my less secure app access. So you can check this documentation if you want to avoid these steps. You can do later at the end of the session. For now, you can actually, follow along with me. So now we have actually had a good understanding about all of this. So now let's start coding our email bot. So first of all, I have imported SMTP lib. Next, I need to import SSL as well. Now, I need to initialize some variables. The first one being the SMTP server. So I'll just specify over here SMTP. That's the official one. You need to always have this variable in your code. The port for TLS, I'll be using the TLS protocol, so I'll be giving that port number. If you use the another one, that is the SSL one, the port number as far as I remember is 465. Again, you can Google it as SMTP SSL port, so you'll get the number. So for now, I have this 587 in my code. Now I have to give my sender email. So I'll just specify my email, technoverse. I'll put my receiver email. Okay, so I have these variables in. So next is I want my message. So I'll just say, hey there, this is an automated message. Okay, so I've got my message in. Now I actually want to authenticate my login. So for that I need my One second, how did this come into picture? I don't need this. Yeah, so now I need my login credentials. So I've actually got my sender email ready. That's my email. I need my password. So there's one more way. Actually, you can directly give your password like this, password equal to in your string. But actually, it's not a good practice to store password in your scripts if you upload it somewhere on platforms like GitHub while you share your code. Or it's like I would say a less secure way. So there one more way. You can actually get your password input while you run this program. So I actually don't want, if I just use that normal input method, you'll be able to see my password, and that's exactly what I don't want. I can import it from my file, but I'm just showing you one other way of doing that. So there's this module called get pass that also comes by default with your Python installation. So what you need to do is just create one variable password, call this library, call this function, and as parameters it requires a prompt. So that prompt, I would say any custom string of your choice. I would say enter your password, and there's a typo here, sorry. Okay, yeah, so I've got my password in. So now I've got all the necessary details I want. Now I actually want to establish one connection. So there's this thing called ssl dot create underscore default context. Now you might be wondering, what is this new so basically this is another security measure. It helps you create default setting for setting up like you might be setting a lot of connections further with this code with different multiple accounts. To get all those settings done at one place, to initialize all those default settings, I'm actually calling this function. It's actually good if you call it in the starting of the script, so as to avoid the hassle. And this would also check all the host names associated with the account, the CA certificates, all those security measures. You can actually google this stuff and get to know more about that. I'm not going into deep, but basically this is a necessary step so as to avoid errors which you can get probably. Okay, I'll just name this variable as context. Now the next part of the code would be establishing a secure connection with the Gmail's SMTP server. So for the code to be more readable, I'll just add this comment. The below code is used to establish a secure connection with Gmail's SMTP server. Cool, I've gotten it in. Now let's create that connection. Now I'll say SMTP lib dot smtp. Don't worry, I don't memorize all this stuff. I've just got it done for this session. You can actually google it, go to the official documentation page and get it all over there. So this requires two parameters, the first one being the smtp server that we have actually initialized here, that's smtp.gmail.com, and the second parameter is the port number that also I've initialized. So it's always better to initialize all your variables in the starting of the code. Now I'll store this in a variable that would be named server. Okay, now I have this server. Now I want to start the TLS connection. So basically this is creating an insecure connection from the starting, and now I want to encrypt it, and that I'll do by using TLS. So I'll say start TLS, and in the parentheses as parameters I'll pass the context, that is the default settings I created for all the connections I'll be setting up. So this is for securing the connections. Okay, that's been done. Then I need to log in. Before logging in, it won't actually allow you to send mails. So two parameters again, the sender email and your password. Okay, so the login code command is in. Now I'll say print successful, that I want to see in my terminal, to be sure that the command is executed properly. You can actually always try and accept blocks so that you can get all those errors printed in your terminal. And then what you need to do is just copy them and paste it on your Chrome. Check websites like Stack Overflow. You'll get a lot of solutions for your errors and you'll be good to go. Now I want to give the email context. I actually want to frame the email body. What will I be sending? So for that, there's this function called send mail. All these functions I'm calling on this instance I just created server, that's nothing but sending creating an SMTP connection, creating a connection with the Gmail's SMTP server. Okay, so the first parameter is sender email, the second one is receiver email, and lastly the message. Okay, I assume the code is good to go. Just let's check it out. It says enter your password. I'll do that. And as you can see, you might not be able to see anything. It taking blind input of my password. That's cool. It says successful, and the code exits. Now let's see if I've actually got this email or not. Okay, now I'll just create one more tab, go to my Gmail. Cool, I've actually got this email. So that's pretty cool. I've automated my email using Python. There's some issue with my net. Okay, cool. I've got it. So it says, "Hey there, this is an automated message." That's exactly what I was supposed to send. So we are done with the first task. Now, what if I want to improvise on this thing? I just don't want to send a simple text mail. I want to have attachments as I compose it with my normal email. I want to add audio files, I want to add normal files, PDFs, images, videos, and actually want to format some of my text, add links. So, how would I do that with this Python script? How would my Python understand all of that? So there's one option in hand. You have HTML always for formatting all of your stuff. But how do I get my HTML into my Python? So for that, there's one more protocol that's called the MIME protocol. So I'll just Google it for you guys and let's see what is it. So this MIME protocol is nothing but a multi-purpose internet mail extension. So what do you mean by MIME? Okay, this is something else. Let's just read this. Multi-purpose internet mail extension is an internet standard that extends the format of email messages to support text in character sets, okay, other than ASCII, as well as attachments of audio, videos, images, and application programs. So we need to actually get this into our code so that we can actually format our text and add these attachments. For the simplicity's sake, I'm not going into all of that. But yes, now the next task is web scraping. So while doing that, I'll touch upon this mime thing, but I'll just format the text. I'll not be adding the attachments, but I'll be telling you what are the code for that so that you can perform and actually Google that documentation. I'll just see it over here, mime Python. So there's this documentation. As you can see, okay, it has provided all the code. How can you use this MIME protocol and add all your attachments? You can always check out sites like Geeks for Geeks and Tutorial Point. There are a lot on Google, but you can always refer to the documentation to get the exact idea of what's going around by the creators of these libraries itself. Okay, so we have got a good understanding of what MIME is, what is SMTP, how all these protocols function. So we are done with the email bot. So now let's see this web scraping. Okay, so the next on our list is web scraping. Now you might be thinking, what is this web scraping? So web scraping is nothing but a process of extracting data from a website. Now, if you want to have data actually for your projects, this one big requirement of data. So there are two ways you can actually manually create databases for test case. But if you want to work on real projects, you need data, right, to actually make analysis on, like your ML programs would be needing data for foremost. So there's two ways. One is using the APIs that these sites like Spotify, any weather website would provide you. There's these famous ones called Spotify API and all. This is API is nothing but an application programming interface. So it actually gives you one URL on which you call these functions called get, fetch, and using that you can actually extract all the data that the website has, but it would be limited and you would have a documentation on that website for that. So there's a developer section in every website, so you can check that part out, and there you get all of this information about APIs, how to use them in your code. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you don't want to get into the complexities of that and you actually want to scrape the data that you have in front of you, you don't want to have those restrictions and all, so there's this method that comes into picture called web scraping. So web scraping is nothing but extracting data from a website, and that's what exactly what we are going to do. So let's see. I've actually opened this website called Indian Express already for you. So you can scroll down and see all these headlines. This is all happening in India today. You can actually go on and select any one city and see what's happening there. So okay, I'm not doing anything, I'm just giving you a tutorial of a web page. No, that's not what I'm doing. There are different options like entertainment, sports, lifestyle. You can go and check out these. Okay, so now what if I say I want to get all of this data in my Python script? I want all of these headlines in my script so that I can automate them and send them as a notification in your email. So what if I say every day you'll be receiving an email at a scheduled time that you set? So you'll get all those headlines of whatever choice you want to, like you can have this entertainment, sports, cities, of you can actually select a city, like I selected Delhi. So you'll get all that notifications by your email. So basically this is the to do project, that is a news headlines emailer. So that's exactly what we are going to do today. So for this project I'll be using this website called Indian Express, and I'll be scraping the headlines of what's happening in Delhi. So I need this URL. So now I actually want to show you that snippet of code, how it works. So for that I'll just open my Jupyter notebook. It's good for testing small snippets of code. So I'll just check my code there, and then once we are done with that I'll just copy that code and get it into my Visual Studio and automate it. So I'll just create one folder. Okay, I've got this, and you can actually rename it, but I'm not doing it right now. I'll create one Python notebook. I'll name it as news headlines emailer. Okay. Now let's see how can we actually scrape the news. So now we need two libraries again over here. So the one being, okay, I'll get back to my presentation. The two libraries to be used are request and beautiful soap. So request is basically used to make an HTTP request, and beautiful soap is used to parse an HTML document. So as you have seen, I have inspected on web pages and you have got to know that all of this is made of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So for that reason all of that data would be somewhere contained in that HTML script. So we don't want that HTML in our script. Of course we want to parse that. We need to actually extract the data from there. So for that purpose this beautiful soup library comes into picture and would be helpful with the same. So now these two libraries do not come with default installation of your Python. Again the same process, go to your command prompt and install these libraries. So the first command would be pip install requests, hit enter. Requirement already satisfied, I have it in my desktop. It might take 1 or 2 minutes for you. The other one is for beautiful soap. I think I don't remember, I'll just Google it. Beautiful soap. Here's this documentation page and you have the command. Okay, it says pip install beautiful soap. So I'll do it. I'll paste this here and hit enter. Okay, so by this time I assume you might be able to install these two libraries that are the prerequisites for this task. Once you're done with this, now we need to import these two libraries into our code. So I'll say import requests, then I'll say import PS4. That's the way you say import. Okay, again I'm messing up here. It's from BS4 import beautiful soap. Okay, I've actually got these two libraries into my code. Now I need a very neat statement of print. So I'll just write print. That's basically I'm formatting my code. Okay, I'll say extracting Indian Express stories. I wanted to continue from new line. Okay. Now we need to actually get all the content from that website. So how do we do that? So as I mentioned, the request library is used for making an HTTP request. So how does this HTTP work? There's this client, there's this server. You need to make a request, you get a response. There are kind of requests. You have get, you have post, you have a lot of like these. So for now I actually need to request information from that page. So I need this I need to call this method of get, this get request. So I'll just say requests dot get, open parenthesis, and then in inverted commas write the URL from which I want to extract the data from. So for me, this is the URL I want to get my headlines from. I'll just copy this, and where's my notebook? Yeah, okay. I'll just paste it here. Now I'll store it in one variable named response for simplicity purpose. I've got my response from that website. Now I actually want to parse it. If you print it, you'll actually see a lot of junk. I'll just do that for you. Okay, it does not give me anything, but I want to actually see the HTML content. Let me see if I save my response.content. See, now it gives me the whole HTML. There's a huge HTML script over here, and this is exactly what I don't want. So I need to parse it. I want to extract the text out of this. So how do I do that? This beautiful soap library comes into picture to our rescue, and um I'll just call this library beautiful soap. I'll say beautiful. I always mess up on these spellings. Yeah, beautiful soap. Then again, two parameters, one being the content. I'll just say response. I want this HTML and I want to parse it, so I'll say response.content. As you see, response.content gave me this HTML thing, and I want to parse it. So this would be the first parameter. That's the thing I want to parse. And the next would be to tell what it has supposed to do. That's HTML dot parser. So it's basically going to parse all of my HTML. I'll say HTML dot parser. Yeah, and I'll store this in this variable called soup. Okay. So now I have got my HTML parsed. Now I want to, let's see what this soup gives us. Let's see this once. I'll just run it. Okay, a better version, a better organized stuff, organized code, but again, it has a lot of HTML. I want to extract only the headlines, so let's just remove it. And let's go back to this page. You always need to know the HTML structure of the page before going further. So I'll just go on, click on inspect, select this Elementor tool, click here. Okay, as you can see, this headline is being contained is in HTML tag called h3. That's the heading tag. You can see the text inside here, and the same pattern is followed by the other headlines. It is inside an h3 tag. So I actually want to extract the text inside this h3. So I actually got how to locate my element. I've located it successfully. Let's see how do I code. Now I'll say soup dot this method called find, and in the parameter I need to specify the class name. And if I say h3, so there's it would be returning me the first instance of this headline, but I actually want the whole bunch of headlines to be printed. So that for that, not the only the first instance, I'll say find underscore all. Now this is a simple code, but now if you get into complex structure, there's this thing you need to add a comma, then this inverted braces, and here you need to pass if you want to be actually a bit more specific. If any class is there in that tag and you want to specify that class, suppose like this, and then there's another attribute you want to specify, say name, and then you say the name is something. So this is the way you can actually locate these elements and get the text out of it. For this code I don't require all of that, so I'll just remove that. I just need this heading tag because the code is quite simple over there. And now I'll store it this in this variable called headlines. Have I spelled it correctly? Yes, I have. Cool. Now I've got my headlines in this variable. Now this is going to return me a list. So to get this list printed, I need to give a for loop. So I'll do that. Length headlines. I'll say print. headlines txt. This txt, or you can say prettify, these are two things you can actually specify on the soup you get by giving these parameters of class and all, so that you can actually get or extract the text out of it. Let's run this code and see if we are getting. Cool, we've actually got all the headlines from that website printed into our console. That's cool, right? We have extracted the information. This is the first task of web scraping they have successfully performed. So I have this snippet of code ready. So I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code, and now I'll start coding. Okay, I forgot to update this code. I'll just do that. Give me a second. I'll save this one. I suppose the email bot would be uploaded. Okay, guys can go and check. Okay, so now I want to create this project, our new final project, that's news headlines emailer .py. Okay, I've got this file ready. Now let's start coding this project. Now we need to import these two libraries again. Import requests. Okay, from PS4 import beautiful soup. I actually want to send it as an email, so I have to make all those imports for that email I did. That's smtplib ssl dot get password. I want to give my password as a blind input. Cool, I've done that. Now I'll be using mime over here because I want to format my data I've actually got from my website. So I'll just show you how do you import this mime. So in this Python you have this library called email.mime. So I'll say email.mime.multipart. So this multipart is basically specifying that you might include attachments in your code, may it be videos, audios, files, or formatted text. So I'll import multipart from here, mime multipart. This is basically you have to do whenever you are working with formatting text or adding attachments. Now next thing is, in this my multipart I want to specifically for this purpose of this project, I actually want to format my text. So I want to import mime text over here. I can even, okay, I'll just show you, there's a lot of stuff with mime. You can say mime audio, mime image, mime message, mime part, text, a lot of stuff is here. You can actually go and check out their documentation. So I need mime text here because I want to format my text. So I'll just, okay, my caps is on. From email dot mime, I am actually navigating into subdirectories. Text, you can always find these commands in the documentation. Import mime text. Yeah, I'm done with all of that. Now I also want to import date time. I'm actually making all the imports before itself so that I don't run into errors later debugging all of them. I'll tell you what is the use of this date time. So basically this is giving you the, this is basically coming with your default Python installation. Again, you need not install it, just need to call it in your script, and then I'll just demonstrate what is this going to do. So date time dot date time, oops, I didn't come, date time dot now, basically going to return the date, time, day, what is the date to day, month, and your year. I'll store it in this variable because I want to know on what day I'm getting my email, so I'll be using this variable now. So I've just initialized it before, and this content I'm initializing by before. Okay, nothing in, just initializing this. Now I'll create one function that would extract my news from that website. So I'll just say I want to pass in as a parameter my URL. I want to say print. I'll actually copy it from here. Yeah, it's here. Print extracting Indian Express stories. Where is my Visual Studio Code? Yeah. This is a bit of formatting I'm doing. Now I'll create one local variable called info. Now this actually, I want an heading going in, and then I want to append all of the data I scraped from the website. So I am initializing this variable called info, and then I'll append here this string, and this would be an HTML one. Now look into this carefully. I'll be specifying this tag bold. I want my headline to be in bold, so I'll say Indian Express stories. I'll close my bold tag. I'll say go to a new line. So basically this print command is going to print this line in my terminal, but I actually want one heading going into my email as well. Again, I've messed up. This all needs to be going into a string. So I'll just control X and add my string. Yeah, inverted commas. Oh, cool. I'll say plus, and I want to actually add a line break. For in HTML, you use that tag called break. So I'll just add that. Okay. So we are done with formatting stuff. Now I want to actually get all of my code from my Jupyter notebook into my VS Code. So I'll just copy these three lines. Yeah. Paste it here. Give it proper indentation. Cool. Done with this. Now I'll just iterate again, but now I don't want to print it in my terminal. I actually want to, format, I mean, append in this variable I created info. So I'll be just showing you how do I format it and print my headlines into this variable called info. So I'll just iterate in this loop length of headlines, the number of headlines we have, that many times you run this loop. Now I'll again say info plus equal to. So this plus equal to is doing nothing, but is just a shorthand for info is equal to info plus info. Just appending the new stuff. Okay. So info plus equal to braces open. Again, I want to say string I plus one. It would basically excuse me. So it would basically give you the number, the index number. So I want it actually to be printed in a nice way. That's headline number 1, headline number 2, headline number 3, not in a paragraph form. So I'm actually adding this. Now I'll add this. Now I'll say plus. A bit of formatting I'm doing, nothing else. Then I say plus again. I'm basically concatenating strings. This does not go in inverted commas. This is a variable I'll be calling. Now I'll say headlines. Now come into picture and append my headlines into this. .txt. Remember to do this. Otherwise you'll be getting that trash in your email and you don't want that, right? So plus again, I want to add a line break, that's slash n as you do in Python. Then let's also add this HTML break. So I'll say break. Okay. Now we are done with formatting stuff. Now I want to exit this function and I wanted to return all the information. Cool. So we have done with coding this function. Now actually I want to call this function. So I'll create another variable called cnt. I'll call this extract underscore news. Pass in the URL. So I have my URL here. So I'll just copy that. Go back to my code and paste it. What did I do wrong? Okay, there's this yeah, fine. Okay, so I've got my URL passed into this function. Now I want to append this content I just got from this function into this default variable I've created above. So I'll say content plus equal to cnt. Oh, that's not C. Okay, no semicolon required. A bit of formatting. Content plus equal to a break tag. What can I do? Okay, I'll say this way. and then I want to say end of message. So one more time. This is all the formatting I'm doing. You need not do this. It's just how I'm just actually trying to make beautify it a bit. End of message. I actually don't need this again. I've actually given space above, so no need. Okay, so I've basically done this. Now I've actually got all the content I wanted to scrape from the website in my code over here. So the next thing is I don't want to do all that stuff again. I have my email bot code ready. I'll just copy some stuff from here. Like I want my sender and receiver email. I'll just get that in. Okay, I'll just type it again. Okay, so all of this is in. Now, for that message, there was this simple txt, simple text that you had in your Python. You have written that in a string. Now, I actually want that formatted HTML that's going all over here, here, here. That bold text to be identified properly and these line breaks. So, for that reason, I'll just create this construct. I'll say message. This is my variable name. I'll construct this my multipart. I wanted to understand. Now I'll be formatting text, I'll be adding attachments, I'll be doing a lot more. So that's basically notifying my Python for that. Now there's okay, have I just closed the tab or it's just there? Okay, 1 minute. No problem. I think I've closed that one. I'll just demonstrate here. For that, if you actually go and refer that MIME documentation, you'll see that this all message, then curly braces, all these. Okay, now you have additional functionalities of adding the subject that you didn't have before with this multi-part thing. So now I'll say subject. I'll say news, headlines, emailer, append plus, and I'll say date. Um, I'll say dated. That's me formatting again. Now I'll say string, convert it into string, now dot day. So basically from that date, I'll just extract the day today. I said initialize now equal to date time dot now. So basically it's going to return me the date today. So I'll just call another function here dot day. So it will return me the day today. So making this subject a bit clear. So I was just writing that. Now next thing is from. You need to specify from whom this mail is going to go, though it's the sender email I've already initialized. There's this two. This looks a bit more structured, right? You can always go with my multi-parts. It's a better option. You can add links and all those attachments, format text. Yeah, fine. So I've got my receiver email. Now I want to attach all of this to my message. So I'll say message.attach mime text. Now I'm formatting text, so I'll call this mime text. Two parameters again. One being your content that's here, and the other being I want to actually tell my Python that this is HTML and read it in that way and format it accordingly. So did I import that get pass module? Yes, I did. So I'll just call that password line I wrote here. I'll copy this one. Yeah, so I've got my password in. Now I will make that connection with SMTP server. So I have the code snippet here. I'll copy it. Cool. So I've actually made my connection. Now the last step is to send my mail. So I'll say send mail. Again, sender email, receiver email. And now my message is actually okay. I've actually got my mistake here. It's attach. I might be getting errors later. So cool, I get it corrected. Okay, fine. So I need message as string over here because this is actually reading it as HTML. I don't want it to give me in HTML. So I wanted to convert it into string. So I'll say message as underscore string. So I get a string after formatting. So I think the code is done. That's all we need. Let's check this one out. I'll zoom in, zoom out a bit. Yeah, I'll run this code. Enter your password. So I'll enter my password. Say it's successful. The code exits. Now let's see if we actually got that email. Okay, cool. I've got that email. I forgot to add space here, so it's badly formatted. Sorry for that. You can actually change it. Cool. So I've got all my headlines that was in this website into my mail as a notification, formatted as I wanted to with HTML, and I've got my mail. So I've actually automated my task using this email, and that was the purpose of this project. So we have just completed this project, and if you have done it as well, kudos. I'll just update this code for you guys so you can also give it a run and check. So I'll just remove some things from here as my email and all and push it for you guys. Okay. Going back to the repository where it is. Okay. So as you can see, the in post code, the headlines, emailer, DM bot, email bot, all of the codes are available in this repository. You can actually check them out. So I'm done with that now. Okay, let's check what's next on our list. So the next, okay, news headlines, email, we have done that. Okay, the last thing is automating WhatsApp using Python with 2 lines of code. I think this is the most interesting part of the session. So let's see how could this be done. So the libraries we need for this is PyWhatKit. So let's go head back to our Chrome and install it really quickly. So I'll say PyWhatKit, and there's this official documentation page for PyWhatKit. Here's that command. Copy that. Go to your command prompt and open it. I'll just paste it here. Yeah, so for me requirement is already satisfied, so for you it might take 1 or 2 minutes. Again, wait. So as I've installed my library, the next thing I want to do is execute my code. For the purpose of executing this script, I would be using spider enough of VS Code. Let's actually switch our ID, have a different feel. So again, I have have this snippet of code ready for you guys. So the first statement is like same, import pivot kit. I have imported this file for my for the number I've actually stored in. So that's doing that job. You need not focus on that. Then you have time in hours and minutes, and then you have that code. Now this library, you have these functions. I'll just demonstrate what functions you have, or basically let's go and check the documentation. So okay, one second. I'll go to project description, scroll down. Yes, so the creator has actually provided how do we use this library. The first being import it. Now these range of functions could be performed using this library. So that's sending a WhatsApp message to a contact at a scheduled time. So the parameters for this function to work would be the number. Remember that everything has to be string. Okay, not everything, your number and your message, and the time could be time is not supposed to be in string actually. And a number should be preceded by your country code. For India it's 91, so it says +91. Remember to add this, otherwise it would give you an error. Now then, preceded by the number you want to send a message to. Then if you want to close the tab after executing this script, there's this code. You want to send an image to a group, you want to send an image to a contact, you want to send WhatsApp messages to a group at scheduled time, you want to send messages instantly, or playing videos. All of these functions could be, all of these tasks could be, you can form them using this library, and the code is in front of you. So I've actually written the code beforehand. It says pivot kit dot send what message, secret number, and I've okay, that's my number I've imported. You need to pass your number in string, followed by your country code. Then that message I'd say hello from Python, and then I've specified the time I want to schedule it. So it's 9:53 right now. Sorry, yeah, 9:53. So need to specify in 24-hour clock, so I'll say 21, and I'll specify a time 55. Okay, save this code, give it a run. As you can see, it says in 35 seconds, WhatsApp will open, and after 15 seconds, the message will be delivered. Okay, one prerequisite, make sure WhatsApp web is logged in onto your browser. Yeah, as I'm reading the chat, you can also send by group ID. Yeah, for group messages, you need group ID. You don't need numbers. So let's wait till WhatsApp will open. Okay, as you can see, WhatsApp is opening. It says starting chat. Need to actually wait. It will send the message. Okay, cool. As you can see, it has actually sent the message. So this is how you can actually automate your WhatsApp using Python, and this make brings me to the end of this session. The part I actually hate the most. It was very good with you guys, teaching you all of that. So basically, this was a session on automating stuff using Python. So you can go, there's a lot to explore in this in this area. So you can actually go and make pods for yourself, automate your task, and automate all of those repetitive things you do every day. So that brings me to the end of this session. Thank you everyone for sticking along with me today. Before ending, I actually want to say one thing, that today I've actually taught you web scraping and how to automate it. So there's a small task for all of you. So that is, I want you guys to scrape a weather website, scrape the data from that website, and get it into your Python script, get it automated using your email bot that we just created, and I've actually pushed those codes in GitHub. You can check them out from there, and submit it in a Google form. That a Google form would be circulated in the description box. You can check it out, it would be updated in some time. So make this project, the project description is also there in the form, and I want to see how many that would actually help me to estimate how much you have learned from today, and a feedback for me as well. So thank you everyone for joining this session. And before ending, one more thing, don't think this is the end of the event. Tomorrow we have automation going into hardware. We'll have a look at ESP32, IoT, cloud services, and automation taken to the hardware level. So don't miss that out. Do check it. So thank you everyone. uh, this is Ishita Narang, projects head of IEEE RAS, signing off.